Welcome to Shield Maidens, Women of the Norse World, the podcast that celebrates the remarkable women of the Viking Age. From fierce warriors and powerful queens to wise seers and cunning goddesses, these women left an indelible mark on history. Join authors Johanna Wittenberg and K.S. Barton each month as we explore the stories, achievements, and impact of Norse women. Welcome to Shield Maidens, Women of the Norse World. This is episode 36, in which Johanna and I welcome historical fiction author Gunhild Haugnes. I'm K.S. Barton, author of the Norse family trilogy, in which a young Viking woman and a Viking warrior are caught in a deadly blood feud between two brothers. And with me is Johanna Wittenberg. Hi, Johanna.
Hello. I'm Johanna Wittenberg, author of the Norse Women series, which is the story of a real Norse queen, Queen Osa, who lived and ruled alone for 20 years in the dawn of the Viking Age. My latest book, book number 8 in the series, which is The Irish Queen, is due out in April 11th.
Wow.
And with us is our special guest, Gunhild Haugnes. She is a native Norwegian who takes her name from two Valkyries, Gun and Hild. Both names mean war, right, or battle. They were goddesses of war in Norse mythology. And Gunhild fights with all her might for what she believes in, but she feels greater empathy with the goddess Saga, who is a saga writer or a female bard. Gunhild has worked in journalism as a disseminator of research for many years. And in 2013, she achieved her lifelong dream when she published her first historical fiction in Norwegian, Daughters of Norway, the story of generations of women from one family over 100 years. And it was told against the background of the battle for female emancipation and equality. Gunhild is currently working on a series of independent novels collectively designated The Daughters of Freya, after the greatest goddess of all. And she has a website with a free short story and a newsletter, which I subscribe to and am enjoying very much. Her series is available on Amazon, the USA, UK, Canada, and Australia. So Gunhild's books feature powerful figures from Nordic histories, all strong female protagonists. And their stories are based on historical accounts and also on the author's imagination. She has myths and deities from the ancient sagas and Norse mythology, and also the majestic, rugged nature and landscapes of Norway. And of course, the most powerful themes of all, life and death, love and war. So welcome, Gunhild.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Your Daughters of Freya series follows women from Norway over centuries. Can you give us a brief overview of each of the books and how the status of Norwegian women have changed over the ages?
Yes. I guess I start with the first book then. Freydis Eriksdatter. She has recently been featured in Vikings Valhalla. But I wrote this story before Vikings Valhalla.
And yours is a little more accurate.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot more accurate.
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah, that's right. But I like the series, Vikings Valhalla. It was very fun. But Freydis is the daughter of Eric the Red. He was a Viking outlaw who discovered and named Greenland, which is a hot topic today.
Yes,
it is. Yeah, but he actually discovered the land, and he called it Greenland because he was in the fjords and saw some grass. So he used so that's why he called it Greenland, and used that to get other people to go with him to this land, the land of the green. Yeah. And Freydis, she is her father's daughter. She is bold, violent, and fearless, but also strong and also a good person. She is probably born in Greenland, and she travels twice to Vinland, which is probably Newfoundland. There was found Viking equipments over there some years ago. On one occasion, when Vikings are attacked by the natives, because there were people there from before, the natives, Freydis bears a chest, strikes a sword against it, and terrifies the attackers into retreat.
I love that
Yeah.
story.
I do too.
I hope it's true, but you never know who has written this story. Might have had some imaginations, I don't know. But let's say it's true. At the same time, she is forced into marriage by her father and bound by the expectations of her time. The sagas also portray her as brutally ruthless. She is said to have killed 5 women with an axe.
I remember that story.
Yeah. But, these stories were written down 200-300 years after the Christian clerks and must be read critically. But she might have a reason. In my book, I found a reason why she was so brutal. But that's fiction, of course. Like say other women in this Freydis book. You have Torbjörg, the seeress. She is a vulva, a professional seeress.
Right.
She is summoned during the famine in Greenland to perform prophecy. She wears ritual clothing, carries a rod, and leads a ceremonial Seder ritual. The saga describes her authority in detail, including special status she holds during the rite. Torbjörg is is a spiritual power of woman in the pre-Christian Norse society. And you have Gudrid, another strong woman at Greenland. She is quite famous. She is both Christian and heathen, I think. And she have joined a lot of journeys around Iceland, Greenland, Vinland, Norway, and Rome. In Vinland, she gives birth to a son that is called Snorri. He is considered to be the first European child born in Americas. So that's something.
That's amazing.
It is.
Yeah. Tjodil, she is the wife of Eric the Red and the mother of Leif Erikson. She represents a religious shift in the period because after Leif converting to Christianity, her mother did the same. But Eric couldn't bear that, and there was very big battle in the family.
Oh.
It was. So, but Tjodil, she managed to have built a church at Bratley in Greenland, and that made Eric furious. So, yeah. And I thought Freydis might support her dad. I think her personality would say that she did. So this was the shift, a time of the shift, and it was a big differences between Christianity and Norse belief. But because in Christianity there were one male god and there were some female religious figures like Virgin Mary and Saint Sunniva. They were very kind women. It was a man that was strong. When you come to Norse mythology, you had there were roughly around 140 gods, and being maybe equal number female and male gods. So at that time, female power was equal to men's power, I guess.
And that really changed after Christianity.
Yeah, because then the female religious features was like Queen Virgin Mary, and very, very kind people, and very religious, and
passive.
Yeah, passive maybe.
No longer axe wielding.
No, no, it was not.
Virginal. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the Norse mythology they were Valkyries, which was warrior-like women. It was what you say, Jotner, giant
Oh,
women,
yes. Hmm.
the
Which
powerful.
is translated as giant, but I don't really think that's what they were. I don't think they were really giants because
No, no,
um,
I know it's a Jotner. You would say
it's
in
another
Norwegian
form of
speaking.
being,
Yeah, yeah,
a supernatural being, right?
yeah. And you have the Norns, the three Norns. You have Volva, which they probably had one of those at Greenland, and they were all magic weavers of fate, and they were was very important and were very much admired.
What about the
Uh,
Disir? Disir, the woman,
yeah,
ancestral spirits?
yeah, yeah,
And they were more of a family thing, right?
yeah, yeah. You could they believed in what you can call it. People living before that might
Ancestors.
Ancestors.
yeah, ancestors and much such things. They were very connected to the ancestors. So yeah, yeah. And I found academic research done at the University of Oslo that shows in Snorri Sturlason's Heimskringla there were 94 named women in this story. So that shows that there were a lot of important women in the times
Yeah.
he was writing about. And the free woman or strong inheritance could have very big influence. They could incited their fathers, husbands, brothers, and sons in many ways. And yeah, and they were described as passionate and aggressive sometimes.
Well, and they could, if they were the last living family member or the head of the household, they could take vengeance, correct? And also
Mm,
weregild. The women
yeah,
could. I mean, they
yeah,
could
yeah,
they
yeah,
could
yeah,
pursue
that's right.
both legal and other methods of revenge.
Yeah, really, they did. They really did. Yeah, yeah. I wrote. I think you have been writing about that in your stories. Yeah,
Yes, yeah, my
yeah,
my main protagonist,
mm,
because she was the
yeah,
last member of her family alive.
yeah. I understand.
Mm.
Then, yeah, she had all the power she had.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Or took. She took it. She really
yeah,
didn't start out that way, but women, it seems like if they took the power, they could keep it.
yeah, yeah. That's right. But you can say a little bit more about the sagas, and because they were written 200-300 years after the happenings, and and often written by Christian clerks,
Right.
priests, and I don't know if a priest should write a story about a heathen woman that lived 200 years ago. Well, maybe not everything is 100% correct, to say it like that.
I wonder
Yeah.
what would have happened if they'd had more women when those were being written down, more women who could read and write and
Yeah.
could
That.
have written down those stories, how different they might be.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
early Christianity, they did have women, but that was long before the
Yeah.
Scandinavian countries converted. I mean, it was hundreds of years earlier, like,
Mm,
the fifth and sixth centuries. And then it was by the time of the ninth century and on, that part was kind of over for women.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
could,
it was.
there were some European countries where women could still read and write, but they didn't hold really high positions in
No,
the
that's right.
church.
That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. They lost a lot of power, including
Mm.
writing stories from the
Yes.
past. And
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I have a quote from a Norwegian Viking author. She's dead now, but she was very big when she lived. She's called Vera Henriksen. And she said, I also believe it's important for us to see and understand that women can be like this as well. Our norms are not universal, and possibilities embedded in the human mind have probably not changed much over the past 1500 years. So, yeah, so that's her
Wow.
opinion about it. Yeah, but she has studied this, so I thought I should just mention it. But yeah,
Well,
just one more.
It
Yeah.
makes sense to me that women are like that now. There are plenty of
Mm,
women. Well, obviously, it's easier now for women to have power, but
mm,
there's plenty of women who don't want it or who just, they want to be
mm,
homemakers. And then there's women who want to go out there and fight. And like, why wouldn't that have been the case 1,000 years ago,
Right.
too?
Right.
mm.
So we're not one dimensional. No, humans aren't one dimensional, and women are human. So we're not that way either.
Yeah, I guess the women that wrote, even in the 19th century, they used male name when they
Right.
Hmm.
published their writings. Yeah,
Pseudonyms, yes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
George Eliot, and
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. So it has been a hard time. Yeah.
I'm sort of curious about what Norwegians think about Vikings. And you were telling me a little bit about what people learned in school about Viking age and
Yeah.
Viking women.
Yeah. What I remember from school, there was very little about the Vikings, and it was mostly about brutal they were, and we didn't like it today. And it was much negativity, I think. When I started to read more about it, I found, well, okay, they were brutal, but there was a lot of exciting things as well. And
Yeah.
as I remember, I don't remember that those exciting things was mentioned when I went to school. And I saw my daughter now is grown up, but I found something she wrote about the Vikings, what she had learned at school. Actually, it was the same thing. She even wrote about Freydis Eriksdatter, daughter. I don't know, and she described her as a brutal troll.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess she at that point I haven't written the story yet, but I found it later, and where she got it from, I don't know. But she must have learned it at school. I don't see other
Yeah.
options. So I think the time has come to be more see the whole picture. I hope the things is changing. So yeah. So I guess we are proud of the Viking ship and how they navigated and a lot of such things. And also we have festivals, Viking festivals with the people going around with the Viking equipment. But very many of us have Viking names, but still
Mhm.
there is something there that's not we're not yeah. It's more to go, I think, on the road to make it
But
more better. Yeah.
I don't know about there, but in the United States, well, and in the UK, there's more and more people studying like how far the Vikings traded and how far they
Mm,
traveled and all the things that they explored, not just the
mm,
brutality and the raids and all of that, more about like
yeah.
what all they brought out out to the world and brought back and all the trading they did and all the distant
Mm.
places that they brought together because of that. So,
Yeah, they
Mhm.
came because they were good at sailing. They was going almost the whole world, I guess. So it's a lot of things that I even found something runestones in Japan, actually. So
Really?
yeah,
really?
yeah, I
I
did.
didn't know that. That's
No,
amazing.
I was surprised myself, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I went to Japan 2 summers ago, and I
Mm,
remember thinking, um, wouldn't it be interesting to write a story about a Viking who ends up in Japan? But then when I was looking at the map and I thought, that is so far to go. That is so far afield. And I thought, well, surely, but it could happen. You know, it could like hug the coast all the way around. And, so
Yeah.
anyway,
No,
I didn't want
I'm
to.
not. I can't guarantee that this stone was, but I felt it was something there. At least they must have met someone. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I
they
don't
could
know.
have traveled overland via the Silk Road as
That's true
well.
too.
You know, they
Yeah.
could have joined some of the
Mm,
caravans. They went as far as China, and then being, intrepid
mm,
navigators, they could have crossed over to Japan from China, possibly,
mm.
or that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah,
It's
But they
certainly
yeah.
possible.
maybe they never came back. So
Right.
nobody ever
That's why the
knew.
runestone was there. It was
How long
there.
would it take to get
Oh,
from like somewhere in Scandinavia to Japan? It must, if you
wow.
did it either way, it could take years.
Many years. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, but
It's
maybe
fun to
it
think
should.
about.
It
Yeah, it is.
is. It would make a great story. You should write
Yeah,
it.
yeah. We can write fiction about it anyway.
That's
That's
right.
right. We
Yeah,
can write fiction about anything.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Should I talk about book number 2 then, or
Yes. I was
yeah,
just going to suggest that because it's in the 13th century.
Oh, wait,
So,
wait.
yeah.
oh,
Before we move on to book two, in the bio, you'd mentioned the nature and landscape. I loved what you did in book one with Greenland and how much Freydis loved it there and how she would walk off and she had like a favorite spot. And you made Greenland so much more beautiful than I
mm.
had ever imagined it in my head.
Mm,
So I just always, I don't know, I guess I just
It usually just
yeah.
looks like a chunk of snow
ice, yeah.
and ice.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I was surprised myself when I got there,
So you
because
traveled there.
I traveled there. Yes, I traveled to
Neat.
the place where Eric the Red built Brattley. Yeah, his
No wonder you could
the
describe it
godfather.
so well.
Yeah, but because you always think that Greenland is just ice, but it's not
That's what we
just
see on
ice.
the news, is just ice.
Yeah, it is. But then you go to the west coast, southwest, in the fjords there. In the summer, there is really nice weather. It's like Bergen on the same.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a lot of green land. And I went there with my son, and I got sunburned on Greenland because I didn't bring any sun cream in Greenland.
you wouldn't think of it, right?
Yeah.
No, no. So, but yeah, it was. But you did see all the icebergs and the snow and in the fjord and in the mountains. But it was 20 degrees and it was okay to be there in the summer. And people
Beautiful.
had sheeps and there was yeah. Yeah, it was very nice there. I loved it. It was a very mix of things, and I was with sailing on the fjords and some beautiful ice sculptures everywhere, and yeah, very nice.
Yeah. And you
Wonderful.
portrayed it well in the book. Yeah, you made me
Yeah,
appreciate the landscape.
yeah. So I recommend going there. Yeah.
I don't know if they'd like people from the
Not
US
right now.
right now, though. I might
They
have
might
to
not
say I
let
was
us in.
Canadian or something.
Yeah, I know. I hope that will pass. I hope so. Yeah, maybe wait some years so and then you can go. Um, yes, then Toron. Then we moved to the 13th century, and then we're in Norway. Well, I can say after I've written about Freydis, I wanted to make you call it Freydis Daughters. This series it was got into my idea at the end on the Freydis, and I want these daughters to be related, and in 100 or 200 years there will be one which has a special mission to accomplish. So it will be 7 daughters, and in the end of the like maybe 2030, there will be a big battle. But you have a new Freya daughter coming up, and there is a lot of Norse mythology in all the books, actually.
Marvelous.
So yeah, so that's the thoughts about behind it. And Toran is a daughter of King Haakon of Norway. He was the most powerful king we ever had. He was ruling for 40 years, and his kingdom included Norway, which was bigger than now, and included also Iceland, Greenland, and the Ferry Island, and a lot of other small islands. So he was a very powerful king, and but he had 3 children with. He had 4 children with his wife, the queen, and he had 3 children with what call it a frille, a concubine. And this concubine disappears after he marries his queen. I found traces that she might have been Irish, so I start the story in Ireland, or some of the start Toron's story in the island, because I move her there the first years. So yeah, so and as she is grown up, she goes back to Norway, to Bergen, where King Haakon is ruling the country, and she joins the royal family there. But she has this mission, this Freya mission, and she that's she have a task like all the other Freya daughters, and she's in the story. Johanna, you asked me if her it was Volva
and also the warrior woman. There was a
the
warrior
warrior
woman as
the
well.
warrior woman.
Ulvild.
Ulvild was all the names. Ulvild,
they were great characters.
Yeah, they were. But I was thinking, because the women didn't have much to say compared to the Viking area, and I think there must have been some women groups that might try to influence, but they had to do it in not openly.
Right.
So that's well, Ulvild is something for herself, but I come to Volva, she has this mysterious clan that that Ulvild is a part of. So yeah. So that's the story behind that, and I try to follow Toran and her way, and
so Toran was real. Was she a real person?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
You can't be 100%
She
sure.
seemed
but,
real.
yeah, she is, and she's mentioned in a book I have with my ancestors. So she is actually my very
so you're a daughter of Freya yourself. That's cool.
Yeah.
And so writing these books is your special mission.
Yeah, of course. That's my my task in life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll actually feel that, but I don't know if Toron has anything to do with it. But anyway, I guess we all have something we feel we have to do. So yeah.
Absolutely.
And I let her meet underworlds like elves and other people on the journey. Yes,
I enjoyed that very much.
Okay, yeah, I like to hear that. But
it's a great book.
Yeah, and after that, if you don't have any more questions about that, we can go to Driva.
Okay, yeah, haven't read Driva yet.
No, that's okay. But now we're going to the 14th century, and it's set during the Black Death, which wiped out more than half of the Norwegian population,
Yeah.
and almost the same in the rest of Europe. For Norway, it was a big catastrophe because we were very few people from before, and then suddenly, people were dying all over the place. And Andriva is one of the survivors, and she meets her mother on her deathbed, and then her mother says that her father, that Driva's father, is King Snow, is a mythical figure.
Oh, nice.
King Snow of Finland, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. And she have to go to I know what to call it, a very sacred mountain in Norway that is called Snøhetta. And there she meets a goddess that is called Hirokin, and she learns from her to use herbs. So Driva is going to be a herbalist.
Oh.
That's her mission in life, and that's what she's going to use at Ragnarok. But Driva also become a servant for Queen Margaret. Queen Margaret is the most powerful woman that has lived in Nordic history, because she was the one that, after the Black Death, where in the Nordic countries were,
Decimated.
It was terrible, and it was threatened by other countries like Germany, and others want to take the land because we were weak. But she managed to unite Norway, Sweden, and Denmark in, you call it the Kalmar Union. So there was, in some years, the three Scandinavian countries was one, and that was under Queen Margaret.
What year was this?
It was
about.
It was after the Black Death. It was, I don't remember, but around the year 1400.
I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. So, but when she died, there was her followers. Her son died, but she had another one that was taking over as king, but he wasn't very good, and Sweden ran off this this Kalmar Union, but Norway stayed with Denmark. So
okay.
Yeah, so that's the story behind why we were part of Denmark. Yeah.
So it wasn't so much that Denmark had taken you over, but Norway elected to stay with Denmark to maintain its strength.
It was pretty weak for a very long time.
Yeah.
So it was not, we didn't like it, but we dealt with it.
Yeah.
To see it simple way. So yeah, the Drivada was her herbalist, and but her mission was to find some medicine or some receipt that can stop fire. So if someone put fire on you, you can or you have this medicine. If you take that medicine, the fire don't.
They're fireproof.
No, it's fireproof. So, and she managed, of course, at last. So, but that will be important for the last Ragnarok too. Yeah. Book 4, it's in the 15th century. The main person is Lucy. She has actually lived. She was the youngest daughter of the powerful Mrs. Inger of Østrot. She was maybe the only woman in Norway that had power in this power in this in the 15th century when these things happened. Lucy, she falls in love with her sister's husband, and after her sister dies, they want to marry, but they can't get married because they are because their relationship at that time was condemned as incest.
Right, I
Even
remember that. Yeah, that
yeah,
was why Henry VIII, what he used to divorce Catherine of Aragon was because she was his husband, his brother's wife,
yeah,
That's right.
and that they were using the incest angle there, even though they weren't blood relatives. It was the marriage was
yeah,
considered, which is
yeah.
weird. That's very strange.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Anyway,
because he has been married to her sister before, then there was incest, but they were not related at all.
right.
But
actually,
yeah,
my gr great grandfather, yeah, did that. So he had married his wife. She died during
mm,
the pandemic of
Oh, the World War
1918
One.
or like
Yeah.
yeah, like around there. Maybe it was a little earlier, but anyway, during that epidemic. And then he married her sister. So I
yeah,
even have a picture of both sisters. One is my maternal yeah, anyway, and I constantly get them mixed up. I'm like, which one was the one he was married to first? And one of them looks exactly like my mother. My mother's just a dead ringer for her, and the other one looks exactly like my grandmother. It's so,
Wow.
at least in the United States in the 19 teens,
Well,
they
I think
did
that
not
was
consider that incest.
a very
yeah,
old Roman Catholic
Mm.
thing
yeah.
that
Yeah, it was because that's one of the points because it was still Catholic
Oh,
country
okay.
at
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
time,
That
and
makes sense.
the Protestantic rule came too late for Lucy and Nils Lykke. That's she loved. So Lucy was scandalized, and Nils Lykke was burned to death.
wow.
Mm. Yeah, really
Ugh.
dramatic.
Yeesh. Yeah. My
So they
goodness.
had a child, and the child died too. So it's just a big
Oh,
tragedy. So it's,
Oh,
yeah,
very sad.
yeah, it was. But Lucy, she has a hidden friend that was called Toril, and she and her Toril's mother were guiding her because they knew about her Freya's the
The mission.
mission, and that Lucy had to fulfill that. So to get along with them, and she meets a Swedish queen that has a powerful ring that will be very important, and she has to get that ring and give it to the sea gods Ran and Aegir. So yeah, so that's the story behind that one.
So at that time, I'm just curious about that period, 15th century, then, women probably didn't have any rights to speak of, but yet her
Yeah,
mother was rich and powerful, Lady Inger. I'm just
yeah,
kind of a little bit curious about that.
yeah. Yeah, of course, she had 5 daughters. Lady Inger's 5 daughters, no sons, and she was a widow. Yeah, quite
I was
early.
just going to say, she probably
Yeah,
was a widow to get
yeah,
that much power in Norway at that time.
yeah. But she also
Interesting.
did. But she did also one more thing. All her daughters was married to Danish upper class people, upper class men.
Ah, okay.
So,
All right, I get it now.
hmm.
so you couldn't decide who you want to marry and all that things. But one thing when I like to go to the places, so I go to the Østråtborg where these things, where Lady Inger and the daughters lived, and outside the castle there was a gravestone that it was about someone that was called Skegge. He was a Viking, Skegge Asbjørnson, he was named. He was a Viking king that lived at this place before, but he was on the gravestone. They said that he died in the year 997.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was curious about that. Who was he? I didn't hear anything about him, so I started to research these things. So I found a story that is really fascinating. That Skegge, he was the hidden chef for this part of Norway, and they had this the building, the hidden building, and he was chef for that, and it was quite a big person. But at that time, Ola Tryggvason was king. He was a Christian king in Norway. And Ola Tryggvason wanted to meet with Skegge because he was so powerful. But instead of the meeting, Skegge was killed by the Ola Tryggvason's men. And of course, yeah, and of course, people was angry with the king, and it was going to be a war, and it was a lot of trouble. And then the king said that he would marry Skegge's daughter, which was called Gudrun. Yeah. And Gudrun said yes. But on the wedding night, she tried to kill the king.
I bet she did. Good for her.
Sadly, she didn't. He was wounded, but he didn't die, and she had to had to flee. But she was.
So she fled from there, and we don't know what happened to her after that.
No, she disappeared. And
that makes a good story.
That would make a good story.
It was a good story. I found that. And
how did she try to kill him?
Yeah, I think it was a knife, but it's not very clear. This sources about that. But she was Queen of Norway for half a day and half a night. So short.
Hey, it counts.
So sometimes you just jump over stories that you never heard before. And this story was mentioned with one sentence in Ola Tryggvason's saga. So it's not
yeah.
So that's so that was a very story I liked a lot. So the last book which I launched this just before Christmas, it's about Hekla. It's happened in the 17th century and part of the 18th century. Hekla is born during the big witch hunting period. Yeah, witch hunting. It was very big, and she lived in Finnmark, which is a small populated place at that time. Also today, maybe, but there it was crazy. It was so much witch hunting and burning of witch, and she grows up. Her mother is burned as a witch, and a lot of other women and some Sami men. And she was also accused of being a witch, but she was saved by a man from the authorities that came there 5 years from time to time. So she was lucky in one way. But she travels through the Nordic countries with her Sami father, and her task in life is to receive a magic walrus tusk, and a lot of other things. She goes to Iceland, where she gets a child with a huldu, one of the
the hidden folk,
hidden people. Yeah, a bit fantasy here. Yeah, but she finally goes to she has the same name as the volcano at Iceland, so that volcano is her destiny. It's the destiny. Yeah.
Right.
So So she's book 5, and I'm working on book 6 now. That will start in 1814 when Norway was free of Denmark.
Oh,
just funny. And then there will be about I don't know how you heard about the Romani people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the traveling people. They were
Mm-hmm.
not very liked, at least not before. And her father is a Romani, and her mission in life is being good at music and song and galdring. If you know heard about
Yes.
that, yeah, yeah. And
Well,
she
let's
The
has
explain it really quick.
spells.
Yeah,
it's
it's like singing, right?
yeah, it's a
Chanting.
very strong way of singing. Yeah. Mm. She will have to pass Loki and his terrible children on her way, and yeah, and this and will yeah. I'm not coming so far yet, but it will end at a big battle beside the Yggdrasil, the world tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this idea of taking these like marginal, like maybe once mentioned people or people you don't know that much about. Well, and certainly I don't being here in the US and weaving all the mythology and the creatures and fairies and different things. That's so clever and interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna
It
Yeah,
is.
I'm
but people believed in these things
Oh
before.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
they
my
still
grand.
build little houses in Iceland for the Huldra.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Those
they
little
do. Yeah,
houses. I saw those on, it was so
yeah,
cute. They
yeah.
little neighborhood.
And they have the mountains that belongs to the elves as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's a lot of such exciting things. So even my grandpa said to me that it's not the Santa Claus that eat that's on the in the barn. It's a real what to say what it nisser in
Oh,
English.
Nisa,
Yeah.
elf. Well, we just call them elves, but
Okay,
Nisa, yeah.
yeah. So even so it still lives in people,
Hmm.
this whole thing, but it's not like you talk about it daily, actually.
Well,
So,
there's a lot of people, and I've been reading some books lately by US authors who are doing like fairy tale inspired
mm,
stories. So like
Mm-hmm.
mm,
kind of
mm,
retellings of fairy tales, and people love that kind. I think I think a lot of us just really want there to be that kind of magic in the world. And so
yeah,
we
yeah,
seek
yeah, we really do.
stories like that.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it's fun. I love reading
It
about
is.
fairy tales and fairies and elves and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, it's very fascinating. So,
Hmm.
try to have something in every book about it. So, no,
And I
I'm
like
working.
how you're taking like these different centuries. You're following these women from different
Yes.
times too. I think
Yeah.
that's really fascinating.
And also giving us a history lesson
Yeah,
while we're at
yeah,
it, which is
exactly.
nice.
Yeah, my mother was a teacher, so maybe
Ah,
I've.
Okay.
So yeah,
and they're
but
gonna and they're
I
the
like to
book
teach myself. Yeah.
and then the books are gonna end in like contemporary times.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm working on. I'm not sure it's going to be two more books after the one I work with now, with 7 or 8 books. But the last Freya daughter is she will be named Vika. So and there will be a big battle maybe in 2030. It depends how when I finish the book. But, but
And is
I
that
don't
Ragnarok then? Is that big battle Ragnarok? Maybe.
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Maybe Ragnarok. Yeah. So yeah. So that's basically my books in the Daughters of Freya. So
Very
yes.
interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm,
And I like the way you focus on a specific person, but yet, like in Toran, I was really fascinated by all the political intrigue and um,
mm,
that was going on. It gave me such a good picture of Norway at that time. So I'm
mm,
looking forward to reading more of your books that give me a better sense of what
mm.
Norway was like during those time periods. Because it changed, like you said, after the Black Death, Norway
Yeah.
changed dramatically.
Yeah. Yeah. It did. Yeah. It
And
was.
now in the 20th and 21st century, it changed dramatically again.
Yeah. Yeah. Because now, yeah, we found oil.
Yeah.
50 years ago or
Oh.
something.
Hmm.
And we also and and also a lot of other good things have happened the last centuries. So now we're a rich country actually, and
Right.
yeah, and female rights is gone very far, very early with voting rights and early prime minister and other important positions actually. So that's
Yeah,
great.
all in the 20th to 21st century, right?
Yeah, yeah.
At that.
Mm. Yeah,
So,
because we've got the voting rights for women in 1913.
okay.
Yeah. So after that, there's just one victory after another, but especially from the 70s, I would say it was
Mm.
Mm.
very, very strong with a lot of demonstrations and yeah. So I guess it started very like that. So
So
yeah,
there were plenty of headwinds in the 20th century for women
yeah,
in Norway, just like there was here.
yeah, yeah. I guess it was in all over the Western world. I guess at that time. Yeah.
Are all of your books translated into English?
Yes, not the very first I wrote. That's not translated, but
But
from
all the
Freydis
daughters of Freya?
or the Daughters of Freya.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good. Good to
yeah.
know.
That's the five first are translated, and the others not written yet. So
That's great
Yeah.
that we can read them all.
Yeah.
It's so
yeah,
interesting. Um,
yeah, yeah. I would like to read your books too, but I haven't had the time lately. I've been
it's
It's a
hard
with
to
good.
find the
writing.
time.
It's hard to find the time. It really is.
Yeah, but I will one day. I will. I really will. They look very exciting. Both of your books. Yeah.
Well,
So
thanks. Yeah, I have family in southern Norway.
yeah,
And let's see, I'm trying to Kvinesdal,
yeah.
uh,
Okay.
if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. I know
saying it
the
right.
side.
But they were telling me about the wandering barns, the wandering children. And so at the time when my family came over from
Mm,
Norway was during that big famine that they had. And they came over and homesteaded in North Dakota.
yeah,
Um, but there was the farm children, the apparently the land had been divided so many times that there were more children than there were, they
yeah,
couldn't
yeah. That's
feed
right.
them all. And they
Yeah.
would walk. They'd walk
Mm,
to the rich coastal lands and work on farms all summer long and then
mm,
come home in the winter.
mm.
And that always fascinated me. And there's actually a trail in southern Norway that's dedicated to them, to
Okay.
those
No, that's
children.
it.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I
because
didn't know that.
that
Yeah.
area, the Kvinesdal area, and that all the
Mm,
central mountainous area, they just didn't have good land, so it
mm.
was very hard to feed
Yeah.
everybody. And
Yeah. So many went to America then. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
What
Yeah,
was
I
it
guess so.
between like 1880 and 1920 or something? There was just
something
this
like
great
that. Yeah.
exodus from, like, I know
I
my
think it was.
grandfather came here in
Yeah.
like 1920 or so, somewhere
Yeah.
around
Hmm.
there.
Yeah, I think it was
Four.
several times that people
Mm-hmm.
went from late 19th and century and onwards, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was in.
Yeah, I think I went
Yeah.
to like an immigration museum in Beckwell. Anyway, they had a lot of information about all the Swedish
Mm,
people who had immigrated to the United States, particularly to
yeah.
like Chicago area, which is where my mom was
Mm,
from. And but I remember
yeah.
thinking like all the people who ended up in like Minnesota and North Dakota and those places, and I thought, oh, if I was immigrating from like a really cold country like that, I maybe go south and head to someplace where it was warm in the winter instead of the same old
I
thing.
don't
But
think they had that option.
I know, but and plus it'd probably be easier to
Yeah.
farm someplace that you were familiar with what
Yeah.
the
Well, but also the homesteading, I don't know that homesteading was available at that time in the more southern
that's
areas.
true. Yeah,
Because North
Arizona
Dakota,
Yeah.
when
if you've been to North Dakota, there's no way anyone would want to live there.
I have never
But
been to
my
North Dakota.
family on both sides did. I mean, my father's side was Dutch, and they came over from the Netherlands, and they homesteaded 7 brothers, and my grandmother on that side, her family started they homesteaded in Minnesota. So
Okay.
they were
Yeah.
born in this country, but then my mother's grandparents came over from Norway, so they would have come in the,
Yeah, yeah.
you
I
know,
think it's many Norwegians in that area. So,
many. Oh yes,
yeah.
Yeah,
huge
in
migration.
Minnesota, yeah.
Mm,
I have
mm,
my mom had, I remember she would spend like some parts of summers in Minnesota on some relative's farm there. She was in the
mm,
city, she was in Chicago. My grandparents
yeah,
were in Chicago, but I don't know when
yeah.
it was Arizona even a state in like 1880.
Well,
I
that's
can't
what I was
remember.
wondering. I'm not
It might have
sure.
just been a
It might
territory.
have been a territory at
Yeah,
that time, and
yeah. And
so
it's has its own difficulties.
yeah, true.
It's hard to farm here. It's so
Yeah,
hot
Yeah,
and dry.
yeah. I guess it was too many children in the families at one time, and
that
there
was the
was
big thing.
not
Is
possible for everyone to survive. So it was the one
right.
that
That's
took the
exactly what
farm was the
happened.
only one. Yeah. So,
When I went to visit the family farm in Sweden, it's pretty southern Sweden, and there were
mm,
all these like walls around everything with all these rocks. And apparently they had built all these rock walls because there was so many rocks in the soil. The soil was rocky and it wasn't great,
yeah,
and that was why
yeah,
so many people left
yeah,
that area to come to the United
yeah.
States.
It's a lot of rocks in
A lot of rocks.
Scandinavia and all over. So,
Well, and even when my mom was in high school, and I'm sure they still do this, but in the part of North Dakota, which is like northwestern North Dakota, is very
okay.
isolated. But the high school students and it's got hills. It's like the foothills of the Rockies, and
Mm,
high school students, when they're on their graduating year, they would go out and pick rocks and write their year in rocks and
Mm.
then paint it white on the
oh,
hillsides.
yeah, yeah.
That was, but picking rocks was definitely a thing in North Dakota too. So I guess
Yeah, okay,
they
that
were
sounds
good at
smart,
it.
right? Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah,
but it is
yeah.
so interesting that the whole heritage, Scandinavian heritage in this country,
Mm,
um, and then going back and seeing where we came from is so amazing.
yeah. And I think some of the people going back to Norway will be a bit surprised because Norway has developed since the
It has, yeah. It's not what our ancestors left
no,
behind.
no.
It's a very
Oh,
modern country, but it's also
mm,
very beautiful. It's just, I think it's one of the
yeah,
most beautiful places
yeah.
I've ever seen in my life. So,
Yeah, it's a lot of wonderful nature.
hmm
Mm,
and the Norwegians are very careful to preserve that. That's probably the most,
yeah,
to me,
we could have been better. So yeah,
well,
it's
it
all a
always could be
discussion
better,
around that.
but
But yeah,
it always could be better.
At least at least they're trying. At least they're
Yeah,
making an
mm,
effort.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yes. Was there something else we should talk about, or you had
Is there
some
anything we
questions? Maybe
didn't?
I don't see if there was some special. You said,
One thing I did want to say is, you mentioned that Norway has recently focused on peace work, and
yeah,
that peace was emphasizing peace.
yeah,
Um, but also, I wonder if maybe the reaction to Vikings had something to do with World War II and the fact that,
Mm,
the Nazis took it as Vikings as
mm,
their own, so there
yeah,
probably would have been some strong feelings about that,
yeah,
negative feelings that it's just now starting to go away, just now starting to fade because, it was an emblem of unspeakable evil for a while.
yeah, yeah. Of course, it was it uh, that made the Vikings area more worse than it actually was because they stole the symbols, of course,
Right.
during World War II. Yeah, that's right. It's so yeah, maybe that's one of the reasons that we don't talk too much about it. But yeah, but
I think that,
it's
now they're gone some years, so I hope it will be better. So
I
well, and the
know a
new
lot of
Viking
people.
ship museum is going to be
Mm.
amazing.
Yeah,
I've been
and very
following that.
expensive. Very expensive.
Yeah.
That's
Yes. But it's beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. I mean, I
yeah,
loved
I
the
hope
old one.
so.
I visited it many times and it was wonderful,
Yeah,
but this new one really is going to be spectacular.
yeah. I'm looking forward to it to see it too. So yeah.
I remember during the pandemic, there was a time when they were talking about shutting it down and not completing it, right? Because it was so terribly expensive.
Yeah, yeah. But a lot of discussion has been about it,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen something lately, so I think it's on its track now. I hope so, at least.
Yes, that's what I've been reading.
Mm,
2027, I believe, is when it's
yeah.
supposed to
So,
open. I hope it does, and
oh,
I will
so
definitely.
then you come over to look at it.
You
So yeah,
bet.
yeah, just you can just get in contact with me then. So
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah, we could
yeah,
meet. That would be
yeah,
fun.
yes. So yeah, you said something about Venegans, I think. Also, I see here now, but
Mm.
I think it was during Toran's time. It was still was Venegans was because there was too much old bad blood between uh, families and people. So I think it maybe after that time it has been better. I think so.
Quite a long history because now they just discovered this Viking hall, not Viking hall, but big feasting hall that's from the Roman times, right? I'm trying to remember exactly where that was, but it's in Norway,
Ah,
and they just discovered it this last year, I believe. They uncovered
okay.
a huge feasting hall, and they're saying it dates back to like AD 200.
Hmm.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Okay.
honestly don't remember where it is, but so they're just, of
Yeah,
course, because of
I missed that.
LiDAR,
I think. Yeah. Okay.
they're
I'll check
discovering
up on
more
that.
things all the time because they don't have to
Yeah.
dig, to find
Mm.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of interesting things. Also, weapons with the women graves also have been
Yes.
found. So it's Valkyries, I guess.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. It's in Ostfold. I just looked up. It's
That's fun.
Ostfold. It's
That's
the
fun.
early
Okay.
Roman age, 1 to 200 AD.
Yeah.
They've just
Hmm.
identified one of the earliest known halls in Scandinavia, and its large size and location suggest it served as a chieftain's farm or residence and a camp for warrior elite.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the oldest one I've ever heard of. I mean, that's really old.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I missed that one, but
Yeah,
I
it's
will check
only
up on
been
it.
they've only
Mm.
discovered it on LiDAR. They haven't done any excavating, and it's very
Mm.
recent that they found this.
Yeah.
So I just have noticed a couple articles about that. Anyway, it's so
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, are we talked out? It's been about an hour.
So, can you think of
Yeah, I
anything
don't know.
else?
No, I don't, I can't think of anything. I think we gone through most of it. So yeah.
We can
Mm.
always have you come back on too if we.
Yes, that would be great to have you back on. So
I know
nice
it
to
must be
meet you.
exhausting to have to.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very grateful that I could be with this
Yeah.
yeah show. I try to listen to some of the others, and then you're very good. So
Oh,
Thank
thank you.
you.
yeah. Mm.
And thank you for coming on.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you
We
very much
appreciate it.
for having me.
Thanks for listening. You can find Johanna at johannawittenberg.com, where you'll find a free short story, a prequel to her Norse Queen series. And you can find me, K.S., at ksbarton.com, where you can also find a free short story from me, a prequel to my Norse family series. See you next time.